What's going on, Dragon Brawlers? Scott Simon, your guild master here for Players Guild, and bringing you a very interesting, different video today, talking about the Dragon Ball Super card game online, what it is, and how I would go about making it as a pitch. Obviously, it's not one-to-one, but this is, of course, my best guess at a project proposal and what I would like to see personally. And of course, this is more of a manifesto to say, Bandai, look, this is what the community wants, and this should, like, if we can get a lot of support on this video and a lot more comments, maybe we can push Bandai into that direction of releasing a Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel style Dragon Ball game. There are obviously difficulties in it. Licensing is one of the huge hurdles. Bandai Namco being the ones who handle video games for Dragon Ball. There's a lot of red tape, but we're gonna forego that for this video and just dive into what I would want from Dragon Ball Super card game online, how I would contextualize it, and just get into all the good stuff like that, guys. So without further ado, let's get on with the introduction. Dragon Ball Super card game online brings the high-octane action of the physical game and brings it into the online realm for free. Connect with others across the globe, collect your favorite cards, and become the ultimate Tenkaichi in an epic new saga for the Dragon Ball Super card game. Hopefully I did the announcer proud there, but essentially that's what I'm saying. It's going to be a free-to-play, think Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, think Pokemon TCG Online, think Magic Arena. That's kind of the basis for this, but of course, with that Dragon Ball goodness. And I think you can do a lot with that, and we'll get into it very soon. So first off, a bit of the lore. How are we going to package this deal? You've got the Time Patrol logo there, so of course we're going to be pulling from the timeline of Xenoverse, stuff like that. So the Time Patrol once again finds all of space and time under threat. This time they need multiple Time Warriors. I don't know why I put a 2 in there. That's not. And of course, the Time Warriors would be us, the player, to help restore the fabric of reality. Using time shards, Time Warriors are able to harness echoes of events past, present, and future in the form of cards to battle evil and save the day. So essentially, we will be using epic moments from Dragon Ball in card form to battle it out. So taking those iconic moments, which we see in the cards, and making them, like, so time shards are essentially your dust. You get to make them into a card. Bada bing, bada boom. We've got context, so you can get some cards that might move and stuff. We'll get into it. Plenty of stuff we can do. Of course, being free to play, you have to have currencies, guys. I know ideally it's like, oh, it's all free, it's just an online version of it, but the game's got to make money, it's got to be profitable, it's got to be able to cover those upfront development costs, it's got to be able to keep as a live service, and so this is the best way I thought of doing it. Again, if you have different opinions, that's fine, leave them in the comments below. This is just my, this is my view from coming from games journalism, seeing behind the scenes of development, and also knowing a little bit about mobile development as well. And I say mobile because that's our primary target right now. So Dragonstones, premium currency for cosmetic packs and decks. So basically, I'm thinking you can buy packs with it. That's fine. You can pay and open as many packs as you want. You could get upgraded rarities, stuff like that. Vanity like sleeves, maybe some clothing customization for your avatar. We'll get into it. But yeah, essentially, this currency you can only buy with real money, and it will be largely cosmetic, right? Like, there will be some uses where you could pay to get cards, but paying to get cards would not be exclusive to that. There will be other methods to earn cards. It's just, if you want to whale out and open a bazillion packs, you can. We have Time Stones, which is our free-to-play currency. So you can earn this in-game. Basically, everything you do should be earning you Time Stones, be it missions, completing dailies, etc. You guys know, if you've played any sort of free-to-play game, you kind of are familiar with this type of currency, and essentially you can use it to get packs. essentially you can buy packs with dragon stones, or you can use your time stones. Whatever you want to do, that would be the option in terms of pack buying. Can't really use time stones for currency cosmetics. Sorry, like there'll be some that you can, fair enough, but mostly it's going to be dragon stones that you can use for cosmetics. And then time shards. Think of it as your dust. Think of it as your crafting materials, craft points, whatever you want to call it. This is what you use to create your cards. You can craft and dismantle cards. Obviously, different rarities will have different costs. So common cards might be 10 time shards to craft, and you get 5 for dismantling a common, something like that. I think that's a pretty self-explanatory thing. If you've seen these kinds of games, you kind of understand craft mechanics. But yeah, essentially this would be how you could earn cards and say, oh, well, I've got a bunch of these Xeno cards that I don't really want to play with. I can dismantle them and then craft them into cards I want to play with. Or you can go after staples like Senzu Bean. And we'll talk about rarities and adjustments from rarities in just a bit. So why? Why do this? In 2022, card games need to have an online component to stay relevant. I strongly do believe that. Looking at how much Master Duel has done, like if you go into the analytics, go into Google search, it's the first time Yu-Gi-Oh! Has trended above Magic the Gathering in like 15 years, something like that, in terms of just like card game trending, which is crazy that a game launch could do that. Like no other game launch for Yu-Gi-Oh! Has done that, not even Duel Links. So for brand recognition, it's hugely important. Not only that, but it gives more people access to the game than ever before, which is true, because if you release a free-to-play version of this game, so many more people will be willing to give it a try and get in on it. You have the whole mobile free-to-play players market. It's a huge industry. There's a huge content creator base. Look at all of the gacha games that people stream for. It's huge. It's a side of the industry that is so huge, and you will get people, at least in the first month, taking a look at it. And if that gets a lot more people into the physical game, then it's a win-win. And it also opens up a new revenue stream for the game. So it's not just waiting on distributors to place your orders. You can have a constant live service of people coming in, spending money on packs, spending money on cosmetics, season passes, etc. And of course, the big one, in light of the incidents that has happened over the past couple of years, it's a great way to bring players across the globe together. I've been a huge proponent of webcam events because of this effect. Like, I get to play with people in Europe that I wouldn't normally play with. I get to play people in Australia. I get to play people in America. And I still think that is a great aspect of it. But obviously, I understand the criticisms of webcam, at least in a digital game that is managed and has proper anti-cheats in there. It's a more fair playing field. And of course, like, it's automated, right? There'll be some automation, and so those misplays won't really happen. And I think that's great. And another upside is for content creators like myself, Crossworlds, UniXDBS, Eggman, all of the great players out there. Like so many more people might be able to create content, just because it's so much easier nowadays to say on PC, just get OBS, XSplit, stream it. Right? You don't need to have a camera to show your physical cards. It's all done on the PC. And I think a lot more people would be creating content for a game if it was available on a digital platform. So the upside, the good, right? Because there are good reasons to do this. New market / exposure, new revenue stream, both very self-explanatory. More people playing. Again, I've touched this in the reasons why, because you want those players. You want lapsed players, you want new players, and you want players who are already playing your game, all in that mix. Great for creators. Again, I have to put this as a pro, because so many people I know who, I even slated Yu-Gi-Oh, right? I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. I've been playing it non-stop. We have a series getting lined up, ready to go for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Would we be doing that if it was just physical? No, we wouldn't, because I would not be spending the money to get those games. I've spent no money on Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and I have reached Platinum, which is cool. So, as someone who hasn't played the game since the GX Synchro era. And I will be constantly referring back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, because that is our most recent example, and I think Konami did a very good job, but it also has issues. It's able to add in narrative and retell iconic battles further than enhance it. So basically what I'm getting at with this is you can contextualize the game a bit more, and for those who still don't really understand the Xenoverse storyline, the Heroes storyline, essentially you take the dialogue and stuff from the arcade machine and you translate it to this. You can make a story mode of the Xeno storyline. Heroes comes to the West. Essentially, that's what you can make it. Obviously, you can have those iconic sagas play out through the story. So it's like you're battling Frieza and his army, then you go to Cell, and then you could have movie events and stuff. Like, you can do all that. But I think as a strong narrative, you've got the cutscenes, you've got all of that stuff, and you just bring it over to the West. It's a bit difficult, and I understand that. But I would contact some of those fan translators, because I've been reading the arcade machine translations for at least 3 or 4 years now. So it's doable, and it's done quite professionally, I would say, off the free time. All you would have to do is bring in one or two of those creators, the translators, and then you've got it as good as you can do. Custom formats. So in light of the recent Unison Warriors series, I don't want to say controversy, because I don't think it is controversy, but I understand the backlash, right, of not being able to use certain cards. At least in a digital form, I think it's more palatable, right? Because custom and limited events and stuff, like, that's so much easier to do, because you can reward players for just participating. You can test it out, right? I don't think people would have a problem if a custom format or like one game mode would just be UW only for that, or you can only play Goku cards, battle cards. I think you could get away with that, doing that on games, because, I mean, that's what you do, right? It's fresh new content, it's different, and it's not like I get in real life, right, because it's our first event, we want to be playing with all of our cards to test the meta, except, oh no, we can only use Unison Warrior series. I get where everyone was coming from. Bandai have already said that they're changing their mind, they've listened to people, and that's fair enough. I respect the decision, I respect the transparency, and I respect the communication both ways. But I think the upside of having custom formats on Dragon Ball Super Card Game Online would be great. Challenges and tournaments. So challenge modes, I'll get into that a bit more with limited time events at the end. Tournaments, again, it allows players to create tournaments. TOs can create tournaments. Locals probably could create tournaments. Like, if you have a tournament creation feature, but then you can also do official Dragon Ball Super Card Game Online tournaments. That could, right, if you win, because I'm imagining this linking to BCC IDs, you could then be sent stuff in real life, or buys in tournaments and stuff. I think that would be really cool. I genuinely do. And a global ranking, right? Because we've seen it with the DBS app in America, which was a nightmare with people buying those codes and whatnot from Tournament Pack 6. But doing it properly, of course, you're still going to have to check the leaderboards for hackers and stuff. That's always going to happen. But I think having a proper leaderboard and rankings, I think people would really like that, especially if you have, like, regional base, so Europe. As much as I want it just to be UK, it would be Europe. That's how Bandai sees us. Europe, US, North America, Latin America, Australia, Oceanus, right? Oceania. I think that's all of them. I might be missing one region. Sorry. Oh, Asia, yeah. Asia, right? Yeah. So there's that. And then, of course, then your global ranking, right? So everyone's smushed together. But there are bads. There are downsides to it. And when you come to a project like this, you can't just always talk about the upside, because these bads, or the negatives, the cons, are very justifiable in not making this project. So, first off, it's heavily competitive space. And I don't mean that in terms of the card game. I mean, you look at mobile, right? How many free-to-play card game-based gacha mobile games are there? There's tons. But then you also have to compete with Magic Arena, Hearthstone, Pokemon Live, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. So your big three are already there. And also, you never know if Digimon's going to do something similar to this. So then you also have Digimon, essentially your own product competing with you. It's not impossible. Granted, they're two different games catering to two different audiences. If they're free to play, it shouldn't be too bad. But there is that aspect to concern yourself with. And again, I might do one of these for Digimon if you guys want to see that, because I think Digimon is more likely than a Dragon Ball Supercard game. But I do really love the idea of this Dragon Ball Supercard game online, and I think it does need to happen. It, like, if the game goes for another 5 years, it needs an online component. If the game is going to end, then yeah, it doesn't need to. But I'm not doomsaying because I don't think the game's in a position where it's going to end. There's a new movie coming out. Dragon Ball's about to hype up again. So you want to be putting your foot forward. So upfront development costs. Guys, I've seen a lot of rhetoric being like mobile development's cheap. It's not now. Once that was true, like where it was pretty easy to just get on your app store, put up anything. But to do something like this that's automated, that has complex rulings, it's a lot of upfront cost, right? And you need to make that back within your first week of launch, right? That's the gambit, pretty much, when you come to game design, is your return on investment needs to be made in that first week of sales. That's why everything pushes for pre-orders. Like, you need to make your money back, then some, in that first week of sales. Granted, that's not always the case. There are fringe cases. But if your AAA game doesn't sell in the first week, it's considered a failure. That's just a hard and facts reality of the game industry. It's a beast. It's disgusting. But not going on to my soapbox about that. So Bandai have to take this risk. They have to be like, right, well, we've got the licenses to now put these cards onto a digital space, because I believe the current way it is Bandai have the license to have these as physical cards, not digital assets. So they would have to renegotiate that license to get digital assets. And then, of course, have the game made. So that's a whole new discussion. It's Dragon Ball Room approving it. It's looking at other Dragon Ball games that exist, right? Because on mobile, you have Dragon Ball Legends, you have Dokkan. Dokkan is technically a card-based game. In the terms of you are utilizing cards, right? Like, it's a gacha system, you're upgrading. So would that eat into its own market, right? Who knows? Granted, they are different, and I understand that, but you've got to look at it from the terms of executives. It's like, but are we flooding the market? Are we having too many Dragon Ball games on there? Are we doing what Marvel does, where they have 1 billion different mobile games? And you know what I mean? It's confusing. So you can't have that confusion. Like, so that's one thing. And so I've covered the licensing. It's a nightmare. Not much you can be done about it. It's like, as we can all make our voices known, and that's the best thing we can do. So guys, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new, if you haven't already. And then, so to sum it up as a live service, the pros outweigh the cons and can be used to market other Dragon Ball projects as well as upcoming physical sets. Yeah, 100% you could have like a little banner in the game with news and stuff. You could tie it into Dragon Ball events, so Goku Day, the new movie release, premiere, like, oh, new event. You can also be like, hey guys, if you haven't already, don't forget to get the new set of Dragon Ball Supercard game. Like, what's the next set called? Realm of Gods. Realm of Gods is releasing. Go and get it. Go do. Turn up to pre-release, get a thing and get a pack in the game, something like that. So you kind of go back and forth, right? You want it to be cyclical. You don't want one to kill the other. You want it to be coexistence, cohabitation. Using sagas, original stories, and a Western telling of the hero storyline. Content is almost limitless. Yeah, there's so much you can do with the Dragon Ball IP. Restrictions obviously notwithstanding, like from the license saying, no, you can't use this. But I feel like it's easier to do that kind of thing in a digital format. Because you can just be like, oh, Charlotte from a different dimensions come. And yeah, so you could cross over that way. But yeah, Dragon Ball's not going to end anytime soon. You have the Moro arc, you have the Granola arc, you have the movie coming out. I assume after the movie we're going to get anime adaptations of Granola and Moro, because Superhero is set after Granola's arc. I think I read that. So we've got at least 3 arcs ready to go in terms of content for this game. And obviously, there's so much the game hasn't touched upon. Heroes still has a bunch of potential. And if you go back to Dragon Ball, there's a bunch of arcs we can take from Dragon Ball, or even revisit in some cases. Like, I'd love to revisit some World Martial Arts sets and ideas. In Dragon Ball Z, you've got the Otherworld tournament that we don't really touch upon. You could talk about some of those side characters as well. Dragon Ball GT, there's still plenty of stuff to explore with GT. And even the movies, right? Goku Jr., Vegeta Jr., you could expand upon that even more as well. So there is still plenty. Oh, and Super's got tons of stuff that you haven't touched upon. Like, as much as I hate Jelly Jita, there's that. Like, you can properly dive into doing some of the other universes that haven't really... Like, every time we get universes, it's kind of like, oh, they're all together. So, like, you could just put in a universe set and have, like, Zeno explored properly. Like, there's plenty of stuff you can do there. Literally limitless content. It's basically they're only limited by their own imagination. Monthly seasons, compounded by an overarching battle pass, Snake Way / Time Pass, allowing for cosmetics, currency, and encourage player retention. Player retention is a huge buzzword in the gaming industry. It's about people coming into your game, playing it every day, and you're retaining that player base, right? Like, keeping those numbers high, keeping those people coming back, because that's where you're going to make the money. So everything needs a battle pass nowadays, especially if you're free to play. I think this is no different, right? You can picture it as going along Snake Way, which is why I said Snake Way. But you could also thematic it and be like, oh, well, this season's theme is going to be Frieza, and then you could have it based around Frieza. So King Cold, Cooler, Frieza, and so you could have the Time Pass doing it that way. And so each track on the battle pass would be like a different era, like so era 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's plenty of ways to do it in terms of just how you would design it. But I think that's a great way to get cosmetics. You make it premium, right? But you can also earn time shards in it. And also, if you really want to be generous, right? Like, there is the option of, well, if you get this battle pass with real money, you can earn dragon shards in the battle pass to get the next battle pass, which I think is a really good way of doing battle passes. I am very much pro that. I like ones where you get a bit extra. You don't have to do the full amount. But I understand at the end of the day, if you don't even want to give them that, it's like, you're getting this is cosmetics, cards, crafting materials, etc. Plenty of ways you can do it. And of course, we would have to voice our concerns as the consumer, depending on what they chose. So, a SWOT analysis. Who's familiar with business? Because this is super fun. It's a strengths and weaknesses, threats and opportunities, or opportunities and threats, depending on how you want to word it. I mean, SWOT makes sense to have opportunities there. So, strengths. Dragon Ball IP is a worldwide IP. People know Dragon Ball, even if they don't know Dragon Ball, right? You say Dragon Ball, someone will have a vague recollection of it, or understand Goku at the very least. So obviously mainstream interest on mobile, as well as content creators being like, oh, new Dragon Ball game, and it's free, cool. And then already thousands of cards in the card game to pull from. Also true, the card game is up to 15 sets now, main sets. That's not including expansions and theme boosters and draft boxes. So there's plenty of content ready to go in the game. You wouldn't have to do it. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel kind of broke it and proved that you can release a good majority of all the cards you have day one. And literally, Bandai can literally just go, look, I mean, I'm assuming this is going to be coming out for Realm of Gods, right? This is where my mind is. So they know Realm of Gods is their cutoff. Realm of Gods is already designed. We've seen all the set, right? And you assume Bandai is 6 months ahead. So everything up to Realm of Gods would be in the game when it launches. How cool would that be? And then they could, when the new set comes out, here's the new set. So then weaknesses. It's a mechanically complex game, so some things are just difficult, and I don't know how you would program them, but I'm sure they would find a way. Again, license issues and upfront development costs. There are weaknesses because they are costly and they are restrictive. Opportunities. Bring Dragon Ball Super card game to a new audience. Create longevity for the game and brand. Capitalize on the IP. Automate the game, making it accessible for new players, rulings and timings, etc. Yeah, this is a huge one, I think, and it's a great opportunity because a lot of Dragon Ball now is really wordy, it's really complex. So having it simplified in an automated system, I think is really handy for new players. It's similar with Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Like, I think Yu-Gi-Oh is very complex, but playing through Master Duel, I get it a lot more than I would if I just tried picking it up physical. Because it teaches you, and using it as a tool would be great. As much as the tutorial app is great, it's very outdated. And then you got threats, and basically that's a threat to this product, and the space has already established competition. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not like all of these are launching at the same time. Magic Arena, Pokemon Live, they have established routes. Hearthstone has an established route, and obviously Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel has now established itself as well. And Duel Links to a degree, right? Like, Duel Links would still be a competitor to it. Just like Duel Links is a competitor to Master Duel. So, product overview, PvP. Main focus would be on ranked PvP and those looking to be the ultimate Tenkaichi. So, ranked seasons would be about ranked seasons or leagues would be contextualized as tournaments, world martial arts tournaments. So the Tenkaichi, Budokai Tenkaichi 1 would be the, well, actually Budokai Tenkaichi 0 for the first one, because we'll get into it in a second. But they'll last about 2 weeks, and it's to get to the top spot, and you'll have divisions. So like amateur division, novice division, expert division. You guys know how rank systems work. And then each season would be a martial arts tournament. So it's like the Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 2. And then that's season 2. And then you're looking at roughly 2 seasons of ranked a month. And then of course you'd get D-ranked. You could make it monthly if you really want, but I think a ladder for a month is quite a long time in terms of a game like this. And then PvE, solo modes that would tell a new narrative, following the player's time warrior, fixing time and reliving iconic sagas, battles, etc. Can also tell the story of heroes for the first time in the West. Yeah, so as much as I like to harp on about Dragon Ball Super Card Game telling the hero story, it's telling it in pictures, right? Not actually as a narrative. I'm the one filling in the blanks when I explain the narrative to you guys. Our plans. So a basic overview is target curious or casual players who wish to experience Dragon Ball Super Card Game in a new way. Pro is the like middle tier of what you expect from players, and that's the competitive players who will climb ranks. So that's going to be people who, like me, who play daily, trying to get the best rank possible and just mine it for all the content. And of course, premium. People who will spend to collect and max out their deck. Basically, you're looking at the Leviathans here, like to get all of your cards hollow and stuff, have the coolest sleeves, coolest cosmetics on your avatar. That's the premium player, the Leviathan that you're looking for in mobile games. It used to be whales, but let's be real, some Leviathans now are what carry games. Genshin Impact, I think, is the first one where I saw the term Leviathan tossed around. And I do like it because Leviathans are cooler than whales. Hashtag sorry whales. So pretty cool overview there. Then your Time Warrior. And guys who are familiar with Xenoverse will be very familiar with this artwork. Players will create their own Time Patrol Warrior, acting as their avatar, using customization seen in other DB games. From the players can choose from gender, race, clothes, etc. Some free, most premium, and some as limited time event rewards. So if you've not seen any of the Dragon Ball games really that feature this customization, you can choose like, oh, I want to be a Margin, oh, I want to be an android, oh, I want to be this, that, or the other. Then you can be male, female, and then I'm assuming you could probably have a nondescript version as well if you really want to be inclusive, which would be great. But then again, I think you can pretty much make male or female look however you want in most of these games now anyway. Could be wrong. Doesn't do correct me in the comments if I am wrong on that. I haven't played Xenoverse 2 in a long time, but I think the main thing would be clothing, items like swords and scouters and different Super Saiyan forms, or clothings for gods and stuff like that. Like, imagine your Saiyan wearing god armor and stuff like that, or Beerus in Saiyan armor. Your god of destruction in the traditional Saiyan garb and stuff like that. I think that'd be really cool. You'd have to make it so all of the clothing can be on each of the avatars, but it's doable. It's doable. UX scaling isn't that hard. I say as someone who hasn't done any UX scaling. Let's take a look at a case study. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel recently launched to overwhelming positivity, which is true, as an online version of the physical card game. Also true. It brought back lapsed players and introduced new players. Whilst making a great first impression, the game has lacked updates and new content, as well as a very quick to complete battle pass. I completed it in about 3 days. And front loading all the premium currency. Yeah, it's basically a drip feed of premium currency. But they only have a 1 currency system. Well, technically 2 because card crafting. But yeah, in terms of currency, it's bad. But it does have a brilliant card crafting system, and yes, it does. Each of the rarities are separated into their own piles, which I like, right? Like, you can do it 2 ways. You can have a general pool, and each thing's cost different, or you break it down, have the same requirements for each, but they're all in different pools. Either or works really well. Solution: the game can succeed where others faltered at launch, with a solid 3-month plan of content ready to go, and other events along the way, as well as monitoring the meta and feedback. Again, very fair, I think. Like, you can look at it and see, well, everything here has launched with little to no content. Will be there, giving you stuff to complete as and when you need it. Card crafting system. So yeah, I'm going to get into the card crafting system now, so it's breaking it down. All cards can be recrafted. Cards have been assigned rarities based on their physical cards. Common, uncommon, rare, super rare, secret rare. So alternate arts, alternate arts that we see in products like Mythic Booster and Anniversary Box, are a premium, but can also be crafted with random. When you craft the card, it has a random chance of being that, and it also a chance in pulling it in a pack. I did mention it in premium cards. We'll talk about it in a bit. So time shards are earnable by playing either PvP or PvE. Some PvE content won't get you shards. I think that's just fair, right? Because you can farm PvE, but there's going to be some things or some limits to that. The amount of time shards required to craft a card depends on the rarity. So in this instance, I've gone with it's all one thing, but each rarity will be different and give you different dismantles back. Which, that's cool. And yeah, you can have a chance of the card. So I've got foils here, so it can just be shiny. But there's going to be full art foils as well. So each card will have 2 different hollows. Just for that bling, you got to have it mixed up. And then premium cards. Some artworks may be a premium experience with colourful effects and movement added to the card, i.e. the scene depicted on the card, like maybe a bit of movement. It'd be a vanity upgrade of a card. So basically, if you have that card and it gets one, you could use Dragonstones to make it. Essentially, that's how you would do. You can't just go, Supreme Card of Time has this new premium upgrade, but I don't own the card, so I can't buy it and then get that card, if that makes sense. Like, you have to have that card to get the premium upgrade. And that's just a flex thing. The crossover between physical and digital needs to be cohesive. It needs to be both of them together, bringing it together. Hi, buddy. To promote the physician. I can spell. Physical gaming. To promote the physical game, invites could be handed out to players who do well in the digital events. In place of, again, of course, in place of small areas or small communities, or even no communities. It helps people get a chance to earn those invites. Products, tournaments, etc. can offer digital rewards like in Pokemon. Each product has a code in the given product for the equivalent product online. So basically, if in Pokemon you get a booster pack, you get a code for the online version, which gets you a booster pack in the online version. So I think that's fair. I think that's fine. I have no problem with that. Yeah. So our competitors, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, fully digital version of the physical game. Lots of new and returning players. Lack of content / modes is on all major platforms. That's a good breakdown. Pokemon Live, next step of Pokemon TCGO, with easier access on mobile and PC. Revamped with more monetizable aspects. It does have limited platforms. MTG Arena, Magic fully competitive online game, favouring digital client over physical, which is true. Their pro seasons and stuff has been focused on the online. Or Magic Arena more so than it is the Pro League. I think the Pro League's even disbanded now. Less free to play Friendly, yeah, I believe it's less free-to-play friendly in most cases. It's multi-platform, which is also handy. And then Hearthstone, blend of IP, backed by Blizzard. Obviously, Blizzard have a reputation, not a great one at the moment. Um, and keeping new modes coming, like it keeps fresh, and it's again only on limited platforms, mobile and PC. Business model, platforms, mobile should be primary target because obviously that's where your biggest player base is. Hey, get out of the bin. Go on, you can go if you want. Oh, you're coming up. Okay, you're coming up. Mobile should be the primary target as that is the biggest adoption rate, which is true. Free-to-play players predominantly play on mobile. It should come out at PC and mobile at the same time. Consoles should be planned for launch, but if not at launch, definitely in the first 3 months of launch, to not disadvantage the console players too much. And I think given Bandai's track record of like console games and ports, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility of having PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, and mobile launch at the same time, and Xbox One and PS4 as well. Switch could always be 6 months later, like we saw with Kakarot. Built-in Unreal to allow crossover with other DBs. Yeah, so basically using Unreal because the other games use Unreal, and that makes it easier to like move over the avatar system. Not easy, but easy than having Unity because you'd have to do a whole new thing. Whilst I do actually think Unity would be a preferred platform, I understand Unreal is a really easy platform, and if Bandai want to keep using Unreal, I have no problem with that. Marketing, the game can be marketed via the physical game, of course. Like each deck and stuff can have each pack can have codes for the online game, which means you're gonna know about it that way. And just like in Dokkan, you can get banner ads for the new game and stuff, and then vice versa. They can be like, hey, have you checked out this new event in Dokkan? Hey, the new set of Dragon Ball's released. Hey, the new movie's out. And then monetization, whilst having a generous amount of free-to-play content and and friendly modes, the vanity items will be a big push for premium and season passes to recur players. I've got a rough timeline here. I don't know why I put day 4 and... Oh, wait, what the hell? I didn't update it. Never mind, day 4, Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. I did not change that. Oops. Oh, well. But month 3 is just more of the same, essentially. Launch, it'll probably be a new set launch, actually. Maybe new. Okay. Beta. Launch in an open beta to test netcode and automation of vital systems. Ranked Season 0 begins. Full launch in month 1 with Time Pass, Snake-Way 1, Season Pass 1, whatever you want to call it. Ranked Seasons 1 and 2. Rollout of PvE content. Yeah, so the beta would just be the PvP elements. Rollout of PvE at the start of the game. The first limited time event launches in the 2nd month. And of course, more vanity stuff and like more content just in general, and in ranked seasons 3 and 4. So ranked seasons 5 and 6, new cards and stuff for month 4. Rank rewards, so placement would be time shards, progression would be time stones, and of course season exclusives. Your rank will be permanently added as a badge on your profile for where you finished that season. And as you can see there, there's like the idea of playing in multiple seasons to get multiple rewards. It makes sense. Limited time mode, so these are the ideas, and this is the last slide. What I have in mind for the game in general. So boss battle / raid. This can only be really done in a digital space, which is great. So take on villains or allies, offering unique challenges and special rooms. So maybe Frieza can have a special ability, Death Beam. It can kill a KO a card once per turn, something like that. Like spices it up, or like once you get your opponent's life down to 8, they reshuffle everything, and then Frieza turns to his next form, something like that. Limited formats where certain cards are banned or must be built using Vegeta-only battle cards, as an example. And then draft. So this would be a premium like thing where you could earn really nice versions of the cards, but you actually draft like you should in the game, like, which has never really been a thing. But it also offers a bunch of cosmetic rewards in the process. And that's it, guys. That is all we have in terms of the Dragon Ball Super Card Game Online. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown, proposal, etc. Hopefully it doesn't get copyright striked. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. I've been Scott7, this has been Players Guild. Subscribe if you're new and hit that like button and let Bandai know you want this, guys.